Different but the same. That's a 10. What was it? 10? You're doing a better job. Nine grams.
Ready? It's 5:15. We'll call this regular meeting to order. I'd like to recognize everybody that's in the audience tonight. Would you please stand and recite the pledge with me? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Moving to letter B, we have school board norms. Steve, would you like to read those?
Decisions will be based on the board's strategic plan, its mission, and what's best for students. The board will act as stewards of tax dollars. Board members will complete foundation work to be prepared for meetings. Meetings will be efficient. All perspectives will be voiced and heard, and all board members will maintain a professional decorum.
Thanks, Steve. We have no public communications. Is there any conflicts of interest to declare? Hearing none, moving into consent agenda. Is there a motion to approve? Motion by Bob, seconded by Jennifer. Any discussion? Hearing none, assuming roll call vote. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Moving in any old business. Hearing none, we'll move into Roman numeral number 4, organization of the board for 2017-18 school year. We have election of officers. We need to elect a president and a vice president. So I would open up nominations for president. Heidi?
I'd like to nominate Roger Hout for president.
Is there any other nominations? Any other nominations? Any other nominations? Bob?
I move that nomination cease and we cast a unanimous ballot for Roger.
Okay. Motion. Is there a second? Seconded by Brenda. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you. Nominations for vice president.
I nominate Heidi. Mrs. Larson. Dr. Larson. Sorry.
Motion for a nomination for Heidi. Is there any other nominations? Any other nominations? Any other nominations? Hearing none, is there a motion to cast unanimous ballot? Jennifer?
I motion to pass unanimous ballot for Heidi Larson for vice president and close the motion or cease nominations.
Seconded by Diane. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Back in for another year, Heidi. So, moving into letter B, is there a motion to set the date, time, and place of our regular meetings? Would be the third Monday in the Thompson Room at 5:15. Motion by Brenda. Oh, Rob.
Just for clarification, the meetings as scheduled in the attachment, so it isn't necessarily the first and third of every meeting, of every month, but the meetings as presented, I would suggest.
Okay, motion by Brenda.
That was your motion.
Yep. Seconded by Diane. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Moving to letter C, Motion to set the school board compensation for the 2017-18 school year. Or what, the amount, so people know. Well, I can ask for a motion here to,
Policy BDD outlines your compensation. It currently states school board members will be compensated a flat $4,000 per year, with board president compensation set at a flat $4,600 per year is what the current policy reads.
move the same, okay. The motion by Jennifer to keep it the same, seconded by Heidi.
I'd like to second and just reiterate that this is the same. There's no increase in
There is
compensation.
no increase, the same as
Right.
last year, so.
Yep.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, assuming roll call vote, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Moving to letter D, we have the board member committee appointments. And I know from Rob's report, if there's, do we want to vote on it tonight, or do we want to discuss? I mean, are people happy on the committees they're on, or? Jennifer?
I'm happy on the committees I'm on, but there was a couple that I wasn't included on that I am on. But, so if we want to wait to approve it till next month, I think that'd be a good idea.
Okay, Rob?
I'll review and make sure that I think the intention was to have them state exactly what they were, and I noticed some inconsistencies there also. So I will update and get them back at our next meeting.
Okay. Then if there's any changes a person wants to make, just let Rob or myself know, and we'll see what we can do. Getting into our regular meeting, we have recognition. When your name is called, would you like to come forward, and we have a plaque or a pin? And Jennifer, would you like to read those?
The Jamestown School Board would like to recognize the following individuals. For baseball, we'd like to recognize Kelly Kessler. Mr. Kessler was named both WDA and North Dakota State Coach of the Year in baseball. He teaches health and physical education at the Jamestown Middle School. This is his 5th year coaching JHS baseball. Also for baseball, we'd like to recognize Nolan Krotz. Nolan was named All-State WDA Senior Athlete and North Dakota Co-Senior Athlete of the Year. Nolan is a graduate of the JHS class of 2017. His parents are Brandon Krotz and Sherry and Tyrone Rosenau. For softball, we'd like to recognize Mariah Wick. Mariah was named All-State and is a graduate of the Pingree Buchanan class of 2017. Her parents are Carmen Waldy and Stephen Wick. For soccer, we'd like to recognize Mike Schultz. Mr. Schultz was named WDA Coach of the Year, and the Blue Jays were WDA regular season champions. Mr. Schultz works at UTC and has coached JHS soccer for 4 years. Also for soccer, Megan Gaffney. Megan was named All-State First Team and will be entering her senior year at JHS. Her parents are Thomas and Tricia Gaffney. Also soccer, Emily Wrighton. Emily was named All-State First Team and is a graduate of the JHS class of 2017. Her parents are Brian and Betsy Wrighton. Peyton Rudnick. Peyton was named Second Team All-State and will be entering her junior year at JHS. Her parents are Dwayne and Tasha Rudnick. Also for soccer, Chloe Scary. Chloe was named Second Team All-State and is a graduate of JHS class of 2017. Her parents are Brad and Tammy Scary. Also, we'd like to recognize for track, Abby Kallenbach. She was placed second in state in the high jump, which broke the school record. Abby will be a junior at JHS, and her parents are Leslie and Brad Kallenbach.
Congratulations.
Moving on to correspondence, we have nothing, reports. We have a superintendent's report. Rob?
So you have my written report here. Just to touch on a few things, you have a number of different updates that I provided for personnel when we don't have a negotiated agreement so late into the year, we see later personnel changes than we do in a typical year. But working through some of these, I think we've been feeling very fortunate in terms of the candidates that we have brought forward as recommendations for hire. I feel very good about those. One note I wanted to make was the transfer. You'll see some that come in as transfers. We do interview for every position, internal transfers or somebody coming from external, but we do interview for each of those. When we do hire a transfer hire from the district, they already have a continuing contract rights with us, so that doesn't come before the board. But we do include it just for information, just the clarity of that. I did have a few different outlines of staff that you'll be voting on later, so I'm just providing that for information. And then we did have some resignations that we need to approve also, both for Jennifer Schneider, Washington second grade, and J.R. Wilson, middle school and high school business. And we're working on getting those replacements as soon as possible. I provided some information on project-based learning. We've talked a lot about project-based learning in the last 6 months or so, even at the board level here, and just gives us gives you some information regarding a little bit of that training. That it was received very well, and we're looking forward to seeing the results of that professional development also. The Marzano School Leadership Evaluation Model, we've talked a lot about the teacher evaluation process. We've talked less about the leadership component of that. I provided a learning map and the definitions of all those elements, how I'm operating these for our principals, focusing on some of those elements I will be asking and saying, as a district, we need to focus on certain areas. So there's consistency. In this situation, or for this next year, it's in data-driven instruction and supporting data-driven instruction. And then to promote individual growth, we also have them select different elements in which they want to focus on. And so it gives us a chance to focus on certain need areas, but also gives the flexibilities for those individual principals to grow in areas that they need to grow in. And as you can see from the learning map, if you look on there, a lot of, in the 5 different domains, really a very holistic look. And if you look in the other attachment that I provided, you'll see that what has been selected, I think I included that, maybe I didn't. But what's been selected is by the principals is across all of those elements. So as we've really had a nice look at all of those elements, and every year that would change. So we would have a different focus in a different year, and if we focus in domain 1, then no other area can be no other element in domain 1 can be selected. They need to focus on other ones. So we're building capacity for our principals, and I think it's a very good process, and I'm looking forward to working through it. I had some suggestions too in the superintendent evaluation competency areas, how that's worked, and if there's improvements we can make now that we're 1 year in, we'd certainly be open to seeing how we do that. If it works well, if we want to continue to revise that process, I'm very open to that. But I think it's a good start. Talked a little bit about Wilson Arena, and we did have some damage there based on a fire, and something that we're still working through, but just to make you aware that you've likely seen that. And in a greater change to how we're organizing board education, I'd like to see us kind of focus on the 6 competency areas of effective governance. And so I've listed what those are and just a brief definition of what each of those competencies mean. And I'd be very open to hearing different suggestions on areas that you feel that the board needs greater training in within this framework. I think we sometimes tend to focus on certain areas and certain competencies, and we leave other competencies behind. And I think it would be good for us to each take a look through those and say, what in these areas do I need greater support with? And then how we can help to support you and grow in those areas. So I think it's a good process, but we want to continue to revise that and get better. Outside of that, if you have questions, I'd be happy to answer.
Any questions, Rob? None? Moving on to, we have nothing under board education. New business. Nothing under activities or building or grounds. Bank deposits. You want to touch on that, Sally, or just that's for information and
Pardon?
on the checking accounts?
It's approval of the board for continuing with the current banking, structure. A lot of our banking is done with Wells Fargo. We do have accounts at U.S. Bank. So that's a listing and for your approval to continue on with those banking institutions.
Is there a motion to approve? Motion by Bob, seconded by Jennifer. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Moving into the financials, is there a motion to approve the monthly financial reports? Motion by Jennifer. Seconded by Heidi. Any discussion? Hearing none, assuming roll call vote, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Moving into the general fund balance there. Sal, you want to just touch on that?
This gives you, the general fund balance, which I give you every month, has updated historically comparing last year to this year. So you'll see the June 30th balance listed there. Our general fund balance at $3.1 million. The other report that is in there for your information, it's the general fund expenditure report. The monthly financials are, the percentage is by budget, the percentage of budget. The other report that I did for you for the fiscal year end, that report is the percent of the total expenditures, how much of the total expenditures, what percent is salary, what percent is supplies. So just a different way of looking at it. Also at the bottom of that report, you'll see that, that it's the expenditures were a 3.89% increase from the previous year. And it also lists their fund balance, which is currently 10.75% of the expenditures. So I can go through it line by line if you'd like.
Rob, you have a question or comment?
I'm just going to make the comment, Sally had mentioned that ending fund balance about 10.75, under 11%. $3.1 million, obviously a lot of money. But in terms of an ending fund balance, 11% is down about as low as you would want to have that percentage. So it's just more than anything awareness of sometimes we don't put into context that, $3 million is a lot of money, but under 11% is something that we need to continue to be cognizant of. So a piece of awareness.
What is suggested, as far as the amount that it's supposed to be or in that?
It's a great question. It varies by district depending on your expenditure budget. But we have talked before about wanting to be in that 13 to 15% range would be healthy. I'm sure Sally would even like that to be. But I think at the very least you would want to be in that 13 to 15% range.
Historically, the board has, and that's something that maybe Mr. Leck and the board wants to talk about. Historically, the board has wanted to see that fund balance at a 12 to 14%. But, things change, so I think that's a good thing to assess. And I think Rob's right, 13 to 15 is good.
I just wanted the public to know that, that's what we're trying to work for it, so. Any other questions on that? None? Moving on to letter C, is there a motion to approve the special fund resolution? Motion by Bob. Seconded by Brenda. Any discussion? Rob, you want?
Just a comment and a reminder, we do not levy for that, but there are funds in the event that we do expend. We do not currently anticipate levying in the special reserve, but we do have funds in there. So just for clarification.
Okay. Any other discussion? Hearing none, assuming roll call vote, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Moving on to letter D, is there a motion to approve the certificate of levy? Motion by Jennifer, seconded by Brenda. Any discussion on that? Those are all the same levies as,
The special reserve, the resolution, if someone wants to read that, what that is the estimation of the mills that I'll request, by this approval for our local tax dollars. The county does not have, a number for me, so it's just estimated at a 5% increase. By century code, the general fund levy is maxed out at 12% from what we received this current year, so that's the maximum in dollars. And then the building fund levy is, 10 mills, which the dollar there is a 5% increase on mills from last year. And in October, when we do our hearing, we'll have the final amount, but this is the draft that I have to submit to the county in August, okay? So, and the 7 mills, which we have done each year for high school tuition, and the miscellaneous at 12 mills, and the special assessments for 1 mills. That's to pay for specials. So those dollar figures there, again, are estimates until we find the exact value out, or closer anyway, by October, and to do the final. The budgets, these are draft budgets. Typically in July, I'm presenting a final budget. We are nowhere close to being able to present a draft or final budget. So once that is complete, I will bring you final budgets in September. Yes, Bob?
With the construction of Fifth Street, do you know what that's going to do to the special assessment mill? I would assume that is it included in there yet?
It's not. It is not included. That takes a year away, so no, that is not included in it.
okay. Any other discussion? Jennifer?
So there's no mill increase at this time? Or, I'm sorry, I misunderstood something there.
My estimation, 5%. That's what these numbers are based on. But the numbers from the county, I do not have to do a final number projection.
Rob?
Draft, I think to answer your question, the draft budget is built upon an assumed 12% increase in general fund, the maximum, correct? And then the mills haven't been generated yet. The mills haven't been calculated because we don't have taxable value. But calculated at a 5% increase, that's what the mills would be. Taxable value, does that make sense? Okay. So
Okay.
yes, increase.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Moving to letter E, is there a motion to approve the conduct technology audit? Motion by Brenda, seconded by Steve. Discussion? Rob?
Just if you would like a little bit of information on this. We haven't done this before. What it is kind of taking the same idea of what we've done with capital projects plans, extending out over a number of years, targeting priorities, and looking at what we need to invest from a technology standpoint. We did put out an RFP for that, and looking at having somebody come in, a third party, and doing an audit, looking at what our infrastructure is, what our needs are, and then again prioritizing and putting that out over a 3-year plan. We think it's a good idea just to look at that infrastructure, and then again building out a plan for over the next couple of years of how we're going to address that. One of the reasons this came about is looking at our Citizens Advisory Committee. Technology was one of the biggest priority areas of concern that came up. And technology typically isn't something that becomes part of a bond referendum, but it's still important. They were priorities that came through, and this, I believe, is a good way for us to assess where we're at and where we need to be moving forward in terms of technology. So it came from that, and it initially came from that Citizens Advisory Committee, but it really doesn't have a place in a referendum, but we think it's very important to bring forward regardless of where it came from.
Heidi?
I'd just like to comment, I think that's a good idea, simply because even on the building tours, not only from the principals, teachers, but also the parents that attended the tours, every tour I was on, there was discussion on technology needs and, some problems with maintaining, because of the way our buildings are put together, the technology. So I think it's a good idea.
Any other discussion? Rob, you got a comment?
Just for clarification, I said we had put it out on an RFP and we did not do that. It doesn't meet the requirements, but just for clarification, I wanted to make sure I said that correctly.
Okay. Any other discussion? None? All those in, assuming roll call vote, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Moving to letter F, to set the mill levy hearing for October 2nd, 2017 at 6 p.m. Motion by Heidi. Seconded by Jennifer. Rob?
Just an update for this, we do this every year. It is our mill levy hearing. We have to do our calculation, that zero mill increase calculation. And if you are requesting to levy $1 more than what you were levying last year, you're required to have the hearing. And we do the calculation. We have to notice out a percentage. And sometimes that percentage gets to be a little bit misleading because it appears to be, well, this is what my taxes might be increasing. That isn't really what it is. The only reason a zero mill calculation exists, the only thing it tells you is, do you have to have a hearing or not? So it's a little bit misleading, and actually the legislature has wisely changed that law, and we'll be moving to a different system, a universal notice where everybody is noticed what their individual property is increasing in every different area from the county to the school, and then where budget hearings and when they are. And so that'll be an improvement, but we are transitioning to that. So this will be our last meeting like this, although certainly not our last budget hearing. We'll have them every year, but it won't look like this. You won't get letters, like some will get letters if they reach certain criteria. They'll get letters that state this is the zero mill increase, and we'll put a notice in the paper. But that won't be happening after this year, but people can expect to see that again in the paper and to get those letters again. But I'd be happy to answer questions about the mill levy hearing if you have any.
Any questions or any other discussion on it? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Moving to letter G, is there a motion to approve the copier bid? Motion by Bob, seconded by Steve. Any discussion?
What's awarded to?
Yeah, I'll... Any other discussion? Yep, Jennifer had a second. So.
Second's approved for that addition.
Yep. Or did you second that, Steve, or? Okay. Seconded by Steve. Any other discussion on it? Hearing none, assuming roll call vote, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Moving to letter H, is there a motion to approve the printer management service bid? Motion by Heidi. Seconded by Diane. Any discussion?
Again, but this is something you'd have to award it in your motion. For clarity.
You want to just read or you don't have it there?
The motion is to award Marco Business at a cost of $17.66 a month for the printer summary. I apologize. for the printer management service bid.
Second? Do you second it, Bob, or? Diane did, sorry. Any other discussion on it? Like Bob said, this is a new program, and it's, I think it's gonna break even or save money, Rob, on that?
What it is for 1 year. The idea is it provides printer replacement, maintenance, and toner. In the past, we've done that on our own through our tech department. And the hope is that we can improve service and break even or save dollars. But again, just like everything else, we'll assess that at year end. And if that continues to be something we want to do, we'll continue to do it. And if it doesn't, then we'll look somewhere else. But we think it's a good step for us as a district to outsource that and provide our human resources into other areas.
Heidi?
So it's evaluated then at the end of the first year, you said?
It's for a 1 year agreement, so yeah.
Any other discussion? No other questions, or all those, assuming roll call vote, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Moving to personnel, is there a motion to approve the resignation of Jennifer Schneider as second grade teacher at Washington Elementary? Motion by Jennifer. Brenda, sorry. I am. Seconded by Bob. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Moving to letter B, is there a motion to approve the resignation of J.R. Wilson as a middle school, high school business teacher? By Heidi?
I'd like to thank him and Jennifer for their service as well,
Okay.
as long as I'm making the motion.
Is there a second? Second by Jennifer. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Moving to letter C, is there a motion to approve the hire of Chantel Grosselach as English teacher at Jamestown North, MS Step 16, salary of $70,982.50 for 2017-18 school year upon successful background check and salary upon completion of negotiation. Motion by Heidi. Seconded by Diane. Any discussion? Hearing none, assuming roll call vote, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Moving to letter D, is there a motion to approve the hire of Brooke Umland as sixth grade science teacher at middle school, BS Step 0, salary of $41,785 for the 2017-18 school year upon successful background check with salary to be completed upon negotiation. Motion by Jennifer. Seconded by Brenda. Any discussion? Hearing none, assuming roll call vote, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Moving to letter E, is there a motion to approve the hire of Jacoby Lloyd as sixth grade social studies teacher at the middle school, BS Step 2, salary of $41,785 for the 2017-18 school year upon a successful background check and salary to be adjusted upon completion of negotiation. Motion by Brenda. Seconded by Heidi. Any discussion? Hearing none, assuming roll call vote, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Moving to policy and procedures, is there a motion to rescind policy FGDA, section 504? Motion by Bob. Seconded by Diane. Any discussion? This is part of the cleaning up of the policies, Rob?
Right. this policy is covered under the other policies that we've already approved, and as well as some aspects covered under AACA, which you'll be approving hopefully later.
Okay. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Moving to letter B, is there a motion to approve the first reading of the revision of policy AACA, section 504, dispute resolution policy? Motion by Jennifer. Seconded by Steve. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Moving into number 8, the handbooks. Is there a motion to approve the staff responsibility handbook for the 2017-18 school year? Motion by Jennifer. Seconded by Diane. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Moving to letter B, is there a motion to approve the transportation handbook for the 2017-18 school year? Motion by Brenda. Seconded by Heidi. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Moving to letter C, is there a motion to approve the high school handbook for the 2017-18 school year? 16 and 17 handbook? Is that?
Just for clarity, what we've done in the past is provide the 16-17 handbook as a reference, and then the changes to that handbook in the other document, just so people don't have to read through 40 pages to find 8 changes. We've just included them all in one document to look through. So comments or questions, we can do our best to answer.
Motion to approve. Motion by Steve, seconded by Brenda. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. There a motion to approve the North Handbook for the 17th-18th school year? Motion by Brenda. Seconded by Diane. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. We have nothing under tuition. Any items for future agenda? None? Sorry, Diane.
I don't know if Rob would want to just address it now, but I'm wondering if in the fall we could hear about how our changes in transportation are going and whether we're able to accommodate St. John's Academy and just some of the tweaks that we've done, whether they're going to be working out in the fall.
I can address it right now, too, or we can talk about it later. I have had meetings with all of the private schools that do receive transportation and provided opportunities to support that financially and made fairly clear that the way that we can continue to do what we have been doing is to have some financial support. Otherwise, if we can cut a route or if we'll need to enhance, add a route because they cost $40,000 or 30, plus per route, that those are other decisions that would have to be made at that time. We've been pretty clear when we visited with the private schools that our intention is to continue to accommodate as long as we could. But the way that we can guarantee that would happen would be to share in costs. But we aren't going to stop people from riding unless we were to have to add a bus or if we could cut a route. hopefully that answers your question. But we're trying to continue to accommodate the best that we can, but we couldn't take on additional financial costs to do that. But we also recognize that there's been a longstanding practice, and if we can continue to do that, we will. But the way that we can guarantee that is with some financial support too, so we can share in those costs of busing kids.
Any other items for future agenda? Something does come up, just let Rob or myself know, and we'll try to get it on the agenda. Meetings to be scheduled. Our next school board meeting is Monday, August 21st, 2017, 5:15 here in the Thompson Room. Moving into Roman numeral number 9, just a reminder to right-click on the monthly superintendent evaluation and evaluate that, and then also right-click on your adjournment to assess our meeting. No further business. Meeting is adjourned.